To be continued, everyone, on Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce, and today we are finally finishing off Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
Heck yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, we have,
We're both
we've
bad for
spent,
different reasons.
it's been a journey with
Well,
this game. We've spent a lot
It
of
has.
time with it, for better or worse. But,
That's
last
true.
time we went through Sector Scylla of the Twilight Cage, and this time we are going to be going through Sector Carib, and
Carib, yeah.
eventually to the end of the game.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So
All right, I'm going to have to hold us up before we go to Sector Cherub. I always call it Cherub, but probably wrong, but whatever. Because there's a side quest you can do before you go to the Volksei colony, which neither you probably did, with space pirates.
Okay.
Fucking
Some of
what?
the characters talk about it.
So I got the Space Pirate mission. I don't think that I did the thing that they want you to do after that, but I did fight the pirates.
Shit, I
Okay.
didn't even know about this.
You did do it. Okay. Did you do it at this point, or did you do it later? Because you can do it later if you feel
No,
like
it was this point, and it's very
Alright.
funny because they
Damn.
talk like stereotypical pirates of yore despite being Nocturnus.
Well, of course. I mean, how else
Yeah,
would they
it's
talk?
funny. Yeah, to start the quest, you, like I said, you can actually talk to a lot of NPCs that clue you into it, but you specifically have to talk to a Kron who says they're looking for some Nergal sweat as a shipment, because Nergal sweat is good fuel. Fun fact.
You know what? That makes sense. They eat energy.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that tracks.
So you go pick some up on the Nergal colony, and then when you're bringing it back to the Kron colony, that's when you get ambushed. Yeah, by some Nocturnus that take their helmets off, because you gotta see that eye patch, of course, 'cause they're pirates. And yeah, they just talk like pirates. They say it's a speech impediment. That's just the way they talk. So I guess this was just their destined job.
That's even funnier.
Me when I'm born with a speech impediment that makes me go yar.
I want
Yeah.
that speech impediment.
Their motivation, as they explain it, is that they like the Twilight Cage, and they don't want to leave. So they're just gonna stir up chaos, and steal from everyone.
What? So okay, so my question to that is, who's gonna make them leave the Twilight Cage? If they
What?
want, they can stay.
I guess we don't know that Ix is forcing everybody to leave.
No, I don't think he is. I think it's just a case of those who follow him.
You know, I didn't think about that, and you're probably right. They might like stopping by Nocturne every so often, though. You know, it's nice to visit
Sure.
home now and again, and
Sure,
Nocturne will
yeah.
disappear. So that's
Well,
maybe that's somewhat
that's
part of it. I'm not sure.
fair, I guess.
This is such a weird plot line, because it's also like, once they learn that, the heroes are like, okay, so we never needed to fight these idiots. We don't care. It's not our problem.
Honestly. Damn, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, you're going about this the wrong way. Don't worry about it. We'll make sure that they don't leave. And the pirate's like, okay, sounds good to me.
Also, that's not what Sonic and friends are here to do. They're just here to stop Ix.
Yeah, well,
Well, I mean, they're going to stop the Nocturnus from leaving, though.
those kind of go hand in hand.
I mean, it seems to me like the priority was stopping them from waging war and taking over the world. If they can also have the Echidnas back, that doesn't seem like a problem.
The problem is that Ix is in charge. Honestly, we have I'm trying to think for a second. We do have a few random unnamed Nocturnus that have dialogue now and again. And they sort of talk similarly, overconfident, like, oh, you're weaklings compared to our army or whatever. So they seem to somewhat share the same general mindset as Ix. I don't know. It would be tricky to bring the Echidnas back. Like, you can't just take out Ix. It would be a process. I guess eventually they might, but that's a tricky thing, and I don't think Sonic's thinking about that.
We have no picture of, like, what does a Nocturnus civilian look like? There's just absolutely no way to tell.
I get the impression there really aren't any civilians. You're either Nocturnus or you're not an Echidna.
Considering they all share the same, models, I have to wonder, like, what's the most Nocturnus that's shown on screen at one time? And with that in mind, is that all of them? Is it maybe just like less than 30 people?
Yeah, there's like 17 of them or something.
I watch a lot of videos on YouTube that try to estimate populations of like
There's some good
virtual
ones, yeah.
cities. Uh, I want to do that for Nocturne now, just by looking at the structure. We're not there yet, but you could make an
No,
estimation
you probably
potentially.
could, yeah.
All right.
When you do go to Nocturne, though, there are even the Zoa have like citizens and they're warlike, but on Nocturne, there's not a single NPC you can talk to that's friendly.
Yeah.
So that does suggest that there are no civilians. Um, anyway, the space pirates are a quartet of 4 Nocturnus Praetorians, and this is the first time you encounter them. Can be a little bit of a jump in difficulty potentially if you take this immediately because they have double attacks.
Ooh.
Also, this is my favorite Nocturnus regular enemy design in the game. They've just got that cool energy to them with their pose, and they've got that cool Hellfire power move, giant laser beam. It's great. I love them. I will say a little lazy that you didn't like give the models eye patches, take off their helmets, but alas, I can't expect that much out of a random side quest. You do get a
Fair.
little bit of potential lore here because you get like the payment from the prawn to bring back to Nergal, and it is rings. So that means that the aliens use rings as currency. Now there's 2 possibilities here. One is that everyone in the universe uses rings, which would be very funny. Probably Ix just like forced a universal currency on them.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I
more
would
likely.
assume.
But it's interesting to see that they all use them here.
Oh,
Which I guess you
that's
knew
why
that
this
from the shops now that I think about it, but
that's the
I
real
didn't think
reason this
about that
game
until
isn't
now.
canon is because Sega's weirdness about currency in this series.
Mm.
Anyway,
Anyway, that's all I have to say about Space Pirates.
nah, it's
Damn,
fine.
I wish I did that.
Well, it's more fighting that you would have to do in this game, Bruce.
Admittedly, I started cheating at this point and maxed all my stats.
Fair
So you're
enough.
getting the new game plus experience.
Kind of, yeah.
All right, Sector Carib. We are moving in to our first destination here, which is Voxai Colony Beta, flying psychic manta rays.
Yeah. So interesting thing about the music that plays here. It's just the main Sonic Chronicles theme, a different mix of it, which why? Like this isn't the final area. This isn't like the first area. That's so random.
Huh.
That seems to give some more credence to the idea that this game's soundtrack had major issues with
Just
some.
cobbled
Yeah.
together like, just put it there.
Yeah.
We have something.
Definitely. It's sort of calm in this mix. It fits the vibe, but it's just weird.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah. These are the weird psychic creatures, and I like that when you first come here, that like none of them talk to you. They just like they're ignoring you because they're in like a hive mind. That's their
Mhm.
society.
Yeah, they're not
Um,
hostile unless you break into their houses.
True. Yeah, which
True.
I mean, understandable.
Yeah, fair.
When you first come here, Shade talks about how even the Nocturnus stay away from the Voxai because of their mind control abilities. And they're like, we better be careful. And the Knuckles is like, my mind is strong. Don't worry about me. Which, coming from Knuckles, really, man? Not sure about that. I guess being tricked and being mind controlled are not quite the same thing, though.
If this were Sonic X, they'd make a joke about him being too dumb to mind control.
Oh,
I'd almost
yeah,
prefer that
probably.
than some other jokes they can make.
Also, there's one Voxai shopkeeper that does talk to you, and they'll confirm that Knuckles is still running around doing his own thing. But yeah, so psychic apparently means teleportation. I never got that association, but it's a thing in a lot of media for some
It
reason.
is. That's a good thing. That's a good point. I've never thought about that.
I mean,
Uh,
psychic powers are kind of just a whatever thing in a lot of cases anyway.
Yeah, any kind of ESP is usually just a hand wave for magic.
yeah, but there are definitely some magics that are more common with psychic.
Yeah, teleportation is definitely one of them for some reason. I guess it's not too big of a hand wave.
I mean,
Either way, so there are
my question
teleporters
would be,
here.
what's the association with psychics and bees? Anyway, this doesn't matter. So,
There is one side quest before we get to the main plot.
oh, there
Uh,
is.
yeah, you can talk to their name's Croesus. They have a name for some reason. They're just a random NPC though. Where they're like, I can't hear the overminds, the silence. It's unbearable. Help me. And you're like, okay, sure. Even though
Please
that's probably a
integrate
bad
me into the
idea at
hive
this
mind.
time. Well, I mean, yeah, it's like one of those. You see that in media. It's kind of an interesting thing when like something gets separated from the hive mind and it's initially like in total distress, it's like kind of pitiable. So I guess Sonic's like, well, it's okay, fine. Uh, um, but yeah, apparently the Nocturnus have like a jammer that they set up here. So you go and you beat up some Nocturnus. They're pretty weak, much
Hmm.
weaker than the Space Pirates.
That's so
And break their
weird, given
machine.
that the outcome of this part of the game is to defeat the Overmind and free everybody from the mind control.
Yeah, I don't get
Yeah,
it
that's odd.
exactly. Also, I don't get why the Nocturnus made a machine because I don't understand what. Okay, so in the other colonies, there's a clear reason for giving the Chaos Emeralds to the aliens. It helps the Nocturnus in some way, but here they just give two Chaos Emeralds to the Overminds and increases their psychic powers, and then they're like, "Great, have fun." Like, why? And then they're
Well,
making a
that's a good
machine to
point.
cancel psychic powers, huh?
That's a good point because also it directly stated that the Nocturnus also try to avoid the Voxai anyway. So why
Is
would
it
they
to
even give
placate
them?
them?
I guess so because
This
why
is an
else would
act
they
of
give
aggression
them?
as well.
Yeah,
Something
the
tells me
the, the
these two.
mind jammers are, yeah.
Something tells me the side quest was written by a different person.
It's
It's
possible.
possible. I do like there is a little bit of attention to detail here though. Because you can do this side quest now, or you can do it after you clear the entire two colonies. And the
Oh,
reaction of the NPC when they're reunited is different. If
that's
you
neat.
reunite them now with the hive mind, they're like, huh, the voices are harsher than I remember. Interesting. Um, but then if you clear everything, they're like, oh, the voices are so soft now. That's so nice. It's great. Little details like that.
That's nice.
So you mentioned that one character here had a name. That's not totally uncommon because part of the main quest line here is that we get introduced to Thebes, Thebes.
Thebes,
I call them Thebes. I mean, they're
named
somewhat
after
plot
named
relevant.
after
The
the
thing,
Greek city.
side
Ah,
NPCs usually don't unless they have a significant side quest. But Croesus is
Right.
just like nothing.
maybe. But yeah, it's a Voxai that is not integrated in the hive mind and who actually wants to not be integrated and wants to have the others not be that.
Basically a rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently, according to Thebes at least, and I mean that seems true given everything you see after this, the Overminds initially were more of coordinators and not
Mhm.
like absolute
Not
controllers,
a
and
true
now they have
hive
the Chaos
mind.
Emeralds. Yeah, it became a true hive mind. Before it was more like sort of a coordinated network.
Right.
Um, but yeah, things have changed now.
Well, we gotta take the fight to them, and of course, as soon as we're found out, now all the enemies are hostile.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The hive is all alerted at once, so everyone
Yeah.
instantly turns on you. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so now we get okay. That's true. You could have fought them if you break into their houses before, but this is a proper introduction to the Voxai in battle. Honestly, kind of a step down in terms of toughness from all the other races. It's really
I,
strange.
I like fighting Voxai because they're the first enemies in a long fucking time to not either have way too much armor or way too much HP restoration.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
fair
I'll admit
enough,
that's
honestly.
nice, but they have almost nothing going for them. They're one exclusive. It's not exclusive, but they're one gimmick relative to the other races at least. Is their poison, which poison psychic powers? Not sure where that comes from. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
don't
they
tell me
inflict
anything. Those are
poison.
polar opposites.
That's true. You're right. That shouldn't mix at all. Um, yeah, they poison with most of their basic attacks. And poison, as all status effects in this game, can stack. So if you get poisoned too many times, you can suddenly lose like half your health at the end of a turn. So it
That is insane.
can be somewhat troublesome. But literally, you just use an antidote item and it's gone. So it's like not hard to counter. Um, yeah, not they're not super tanky unlike other enemies. So yeah, mostly unremarkable.
Yeah.
Oh
I
wait,
I'm a,
actually, I have one other comment, which is that they have the longest recovery animation known to man. It slows down the battles a lot every time one of them gets knocked down from missing.
It's
mm,
actually interesting you point that out now. I noticed, and maybe just because I hadn't rebooted my 3DS at all during this playthrough, my battles started actually like actively slowing down. Like animations would take longer to actually activate. I don't know if that's like a memory leak or something, or just something that's known to happen.
hadn't rebooted. You didn't turn
Uh,
your 3DS off since you started this game.
Nope.
Good God, man.
that's
I
funny
need to I
behavior.
needed to torture my 3DS. It
It could
hadn't
be
been
something
used
with
in
this
a while.
3DS. I'll admit I've never played the entire game in one sitting before, so maybe it does
I
behave that
effectively
way
did.
over
I'm
time.
assuming it was some
Um,
kind of memory leak.
yeah, that's weird. I've never seen that happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of neat and wanted to bring that up.
All
I'm
right.
not surprised that it can do that.
Well, yeah, we have to get closer. We basically Voxai Colony Beta is basically just a crossroads to Colony Alpha, although it
Yeah.
has a lot of sort of unintuitive teleport maze navigation.
Ugh, I hate the teleport mazes so much.
I ran in circles a lot here.
I don't think I really
It,
ran in circles. It just made getting around take like twice as long.
it definitely can be confusing at first. I haven't memorized, so it's not a big deal for me. There aren't too many, and it's not too long. Could be a lot worse.
Mm.
But we need to use Shade's teleportability as specified, which means that once we do get to Colony Alpha, you can't switch out party members unless you're gonna run all the way back to your ship.
Yeah, I
Just
end up
because the
having to
ship
do
isn't
that.
there, you
Yeah, you
mean?
have to go. Yeah, you have to go back through the colony to.
Well,
I
I
use
just mean
Shadow
that like
personally.
Colony
Yeah.
Alpha is I don't know if it's longer than Colony Beta, but there's a lot of stuff to fight. And
Maybe a little longer.
if you want a different
Mm.
party member, you have a trek to get back.
Yeah, luckily I figured that out pretty right at the beginning because I didn't have anyone that could teleport. So
There's one plot encounter before you go to Colony Alpha. You meet with Felix, who seems like sort of for a command, maybe a proxy to the Overmind for Colony Beta, because he comes with one of the Great Emeralds. They've dubbed the Chaos Emeralds when they've been like infused with psychic powers, and he's like, I'm going to put the influence of the Overmind here so that no one can resist it anymore. And so you have to stop him from that. So yeah, there's a boss battle here. It's quite unremarkable though, because he's literally just a buffed Voxai. There's like no difference.
Hence, I literally
I
have
guess
no notes and forgot that happened.
yeah, he has like a marking on his head that differentiates him, but he's the same color as the other Voxai. I think QTEs for his psychic wave are different, but the effect is the same. So
Hmm.
practically identical. It's completely unremarkable. But yeah, you beat him up and you get the Chaos Emerald, and that's important because you need the Chaos Emerald in order to travel to Colony Alpha, because it protects you. It's like a key, or is how they describe it, apparently.
Huh. Okay.
But yes, there are two Voxai colonies. I don't know why. I guess they just predominantly were on two different planets, and so two different planet chunks came to the Twilight Cage. I don't know. I guess the
They
devs
look
wanted
pretty
to
different.
ramp that
Alpha
up.
is a lot more sleek and white.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the gentrified district.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. I never thought about that. All the Overmind hang out there too. Oh my
Actually,
gosh.
yeah.
Oh, the caste
Huh.
system.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. It's funny. They talk about how great like it was before the Chaos Emeralds came, but everyone in the Twilight Cage is like bad before they came to the Twilight Cage. So probably it wasn't all it was cracked up to be, the good old days of the Voxai.
Yeah.
Another thing, I just had a random thought here that didn't have to happen now, but it came here. When I was picking up Chow eggs in Colony Alpha, I was like, there are Chow eggs on alien planets.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, so there's two possibilities here.
Good for
One
you.
is that Chow are everywhere in the universe, which would be hilarious. But the more likely possibility, again, is that I can blame it on the Nocturnus. But that
Oh,
means the
yeah.
Nocturnus are fond of Chow, which is
Who
hilarious too.
isn't? Look at them. Who isn't?
So they've just
Eggman
been
liked Chow,
brooding
so
Chow the whole time they've been
Yeah.
trapped in the Twilight Cage.
Why not? Passes the time.
It's true.
Folks
There's
like
a
Colony
puzzle
Alpha.
here. There's a puzzle here.
Oh yeah, the friggin' light tone. How does this thing work? Do you know? I just press buttons until it works.
I know how it works.
What is it?
So the way
Right.
it works is you hit the buttons when they light up, but only if they light up once. If they light up twice, you just wait, and then the
Oh.
next set will light up. I didn't understand that until I read a guide though, because I thought you
Okay.
just press the buttons when they light up.
I just trialed and error. I thought it had to do something with like the tone of the beeping or something.
Yeah, that's a good red herring. No. Bruce has it exactly right.
Yeah.
This I don't understand like what they
How are
were
you supposed to
thinking with
figure-
this puzzle.
So many puzzles in this game. It's like, how do you figure that out
They
without
were
buying like the
thinking this
Prima
game
guide?
ships in a week. We need to put something here.
I
And
did
probably.
actually figure this puzzle out on my own as a kid. It was one of the only late game ones.
Ow.
Uh, I just played it enough and eventually just clicked in my mind. I mean, I definitely did it randomly, like the first few times of playing the game over and over.
Sure.
Eventually was like, oh, I see the pattern in the madness, basically. It definitely didn't happen with like the stupid math puzzle in Zoa Colony, I'll tell you. Um, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's not really. It's mostly just you fight and you collect items and then you run to the Overmind. It's a pretty. I mean, it's not a straight path because you have to definitely navigate places, but there's not
It's
like
circuitous,
notable
but it's
things.
uncomplicated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of the Overmind themselves, there's 3 of them, and they each have a different power of some sort. I didn't take a lot of notes on this because it didn't give me much of a resistance, because at this point, every battle in the game, I'm just spamming the same few attacks.
Understandable. It's an easy
Yeah.
trap to fall into with a lot of RPGs, simplistic RPGs, easy RPGs. This game definitely falls into that unless you're intentionally challenging yourself. You can't really see a lot of the depth of the battle system, which there isn't a ton of depth, but there is some.
Yeah,
Um,
there's something.
Anyhow, before you actually fight them, though, I have to point out that they give unique reactions to every single party member depending on who you have here.
Hmm.
When they're going to be like controlled by the overminds, they all react in different ways. Shadow is like, I'm so tired of listening to Sonic be the leader. Tails is like, he just wants to run away. And Omega is like, psychic interference detected because they're just a robot. They can't be mind controlled. Um, so I like that. But then Sonic, because he's Sonic. Oh no, actually, it's because he has the Chaos Emerald. That's why he's unaffected by it. He's like, no, we won't listen to you. Overminds, we will not serve you. And then one of them is just like, okay, fine. We can just beat you in a fight. So, we're so cool. We'll even give you back your friends. And then they proceed to immediately lose, overconfident, as usual.
That's the
It's really
scariest race
dumb.
on the Twilight Cage, everybody.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. They really couldn't have done like a power friendship moment where you like break them out of the control or something. That would have been better. But anyhow,
End of
um,
Undertale.
I guess. No, I mean, it's like just
That's
like a
what you
brief
want
bit
to
of
do with
dialogue.
that kind of mind control stuff, is you use it to explore everybody's deepest insecurities.
Yeah, like I said, there's like a line for every character,
right.
which is funny. But yeah, they don't do a whole lot of depth. We're getting to the end of the game here anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Overminds, they all have weird names. Kozia, Lugia, Radne. I definitely didn't pronounce any of those correctly. But apparently they're the names of Greek sirens. So, okay, there you go. Another
Oh, that makes
Greek slash
sense.
Roman thing. So you mentioned they all have unique powers. Yes, but funny thing here. So this is when the game is bugged again.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so all 3 of the Overminds have their own power moves, but 2 of them don't work at all. Like if
What?
they fire off and they hit you, nothing happens. When Psy Dazzle or Psy Slow are used, they're supposed to inflict distracted and sluggish respectively, but they just don't work at all. And the only way that we know that they're supposed to work that way is in the Prima official guide that was published for this game. It says that's what they do, but they don't. I mean, it fits with the
Wild.
names too, so you can infer. And the fact that they wouldn't just make it not do anything, that's just bizarre. But yeah, so this boss is just bugged, which means that effectively they are once again just tougher Voxai. So,
Yeah.
oops.
No, dude, you don't get
Uh,
it. It's a callback to Final Fantasy 1 and how some spells in that game just don't do anything.
God, that's right, they
oh
do.
yeah, the classic RPG influence, of course. Um, they do have quite a bit of health because there's 3 of them though, so they at least don't go down instantly, unlike some other bosses in this game. Uh, but yeah, there's not a lot to them. I mean, I guess I like that they're multicolored. They're pretty, the green, orange, blue. That I like the designs, but
Yeah, I
anyhow,
like when
no, yeah,
colors
not very
exist.
remarkable. Well,
Uh,
they have little different patterns on their heads too. They've got like swirls and lines and stuff. Um, but yeah, they're
all
just
right.
folks at the end of the day.
Well,
Anyhow,
anyway,
yeah.
we beat them, and what do we put Thebes in charge? Is that what happens?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Now we have not a democratically elected leader, but a leader rather than absolute mental dominance.
Right. But
And
later on, they referred to him being in charge of the new head of the Overmind.
well, I assume that's back to the old role as guidance rather
I
than
assume so, yeah. But that
Yeah.
threw me off a little bit.
it's more like the next to mind. Um, anyway, but hey, we've done every colony in the Twilight Cage, and so we've united all the races, so to speak. So that means we have to go back to Kron Colony and talk to everybody in a Lord of the Rings council scene.
That's right, but I'm gonna hijack for a minute because
Please do.
this is your last chance to do any side quests you haven't completed yet.
This is the point of no return.
Yeah, this is when the game is at its most open in the second half. So yeah, this is when I did some cleanup on things. First of all, when you start chapter 10 here after you beat the Voxai, Knuckles shows up in the ship and you can talk to him, and he alludes to something. He's like, are we really doing the right thing, Sonic? It's really funny because you can just be like, yes, of course, Ix is like a maniac. We have to stop him. And Knuckles is just like, yeah, I knew you'd say that. Of course, Sonic. Whatever. I won't like watch the world burn, but I don't know. It'd be really nice to have the Echidnas back. So,
which makes sense. Knuckles would want that.
Yeah. He also says that according to the history books, Ix wasn't always such a megalomaniac, which is interesting. There's like one other line that sort of expands that. I must apologize to our listeners. I forgot a lot of details in this game. Apparently, when I don't play something for a few years, even if I played it a million times previously, I still forget details. So yeah, there is a little bit that I'll talk about later with regard to Ix's character. He's not completely simple, but mostly still. Anyhow, so there's that little thing there. But as far as actual side quests, so okay, now we're getting to the really, really good stuff though. So this is when I went back and turned in all the relics that I've been collecting across the game. You probably found a few of them, even if you weren't trying to go out of your way to get them. But I went and turned them all into Nestor. And this is when you get some lore. So there's like 2 quests with him. There's where you give him like little pieces of Nocturne, and then there's one where you give him like tablets with lore that were written by the predecessors. So first, when you give him the little bits of Nocturne and he gets all like sentimental, the notable thing that he talks about is he talks about a Gizoid that he used to call a friend and that he can't find anymore. And then you can choose a dialogue option where you can be like, wait, are you talking about Emerald? And then he's like, Emerald? We never gave him a name, which is right. That's true. More accurate.
Yeah.
But he's like, I suppose that must have been Emerald, because apparently every single Gizoid got pulled in with them except for one that they lost track of.
How extremely
and
convenient.
then Tails jumps in.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where they wanted to expand the lore and not technically contradict the prior lore, but they kind of went a little wild with it.
Yeah.
You see it in media sometimes. But luckily, Tails is here to ask the obvious questions, because Tails is like, wait a second, didn't Emerald destroy the 4th Great Civilization? And then Nestor is like, well, I suppose he did destroy us from a certain point of view. That's an exact quote. But his point is that, oh, well, okay, so the Gizoids were the pinnacle of our technological achievement, and Emerald was the most powerful Gizoid of all. I guess they didn't. That's why you can just beat them up like regular enemies in this game a lot of the time. And he said that when we had our Gizoids, nothing could stand against us, even Pachacamac. And then when we were at the height of our power, that's when we got whisked away into the Twilight Cage. So I guess they built powerful enough soldier robots that was when they were taken away, and so you can kind of see that as it destroying them. And then I infer on the flip side that to everyone else, it appeared as though the Nocturnus were destroyed because only Emerald was left there. So I suppose that's what they're going with.
It technically works. It feels like a stretch to me to extrapolate that from Sonic Battle.
I guess
that's definitely not what Sonic Battle was getting at.
Yeah, but it works out well enough.
I'm trying to remember who wrote Sonic Battle. I don't think it was Izuka, but Obviously, his involvement with this game was very limited anyway, so I doubt that he was like, "Oh, this is what I meant" or whatever.
Yeah, but that's their explanation anyway. So they did
Interesting.
actually address it. So that's cool. Um, so that's that quest. Then
D-
when you give him the tablets side quest that you bring to Nestor to translate. So as I talked about, there were these precursors that were another civilization that was stranded in the Twilight Cage long ago. Um, and they like have basically their thoughts about the Argus. There isn't a whole lot that's revealed about them because, as we mentioned, that was probably going to be in the second game. Uh,
Right.
but basically, it confirms that, oh yeah, the Twilight Cage is a prison, and there was like a higher being that created it, and apparently there's time dilation going on as well. Time doesn't flow
Mhm.
evenly. Um,
Hence why the Nocturnists are all still alive after thousands of years.
Right.
exactly. Um, the source of the name is interesting because apparently, whenever someone is dragged to the Twilight Cage, the word Argus appears in their mind. That's kind of weird. Um,
Interesting.
Yeah, there's like some weird mind warping evil or something, which is reinforced by the last tablet that you translate that just says the will of Argus must escape Argus over and over and over and over. And
Mhm.
Nestor is so freaked out about this that he's like, maybe we shouldn't try to leave the Twilight Cage, actually. Maybe I'll just go away and think for a while. I will be fine here in Argus's cage. And then he just disappears for the rest of the game.
Oh no!
Interesting.
What did he do?
I feel like he may have gone mad, maybe into
Huh.
the Eldritch abominations.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah. All right. Well, that's all very interesting, and
Huh.
boy, I can't wait for this game's sequel. Um,
Damn.
Wouldn't that be great? I also took this opportunity to finish the collect technology to create weapons for the military side quest for Rouge
Mhm.
because you could have done it way earlier, but I couldn't be bothered to grind until I was high enough level that the battles would go quicker. It's not nearly as bad as other RPGs, but it did take me like 20 minutes of fighting Nocturnus to collect enough tech, so it was a
Fair.
little annoying. I always put this off. Not that there's really that much that comes out of the quest anyway. The in-game rewards are really low compared to other quests, and Rouge is basically just like, wow, okay, isn't this so great? All this Nocturnus tech. Wow, I love this. No, I actually hate this. Why is this my job? Why did Gun give me this job? Don't give me any more Nocturnus tech, please. And then you'd be like, okay,
God.
great. And then she's like, all right, here, I'll give you the reward now that they had. Uh, and they're like, and this is a quote. Finally, I can go do important things like sitting around looking pretty.
Jesus Christ.
what's the reward?
It's just 1,000 experience, and it's a randomized item because certain quests just give you random items that don't even have a set
Uh-huh.
reward.
Wow,
It's nothing. Yeah, it's really bad.
not even a lap dance. All right. Is there any
Jesus,
other side
really?
quests before we do the thing?
No side quests, but I do have to spotlight a bit of sort of toned down humor here right before you go into the conference that I appreciate. When you talk to the Kron guard in the front, you can ask them, did everyone
Oh
show up?
yeah.
And then the Kron's like, arrived, did all races. Sonic's like, and everyone's getting along, had no riots or explosions of any kind. That's a good
I,
thing.
I
Agreed.
saw that. Yeah. No, that was funny.
I love it.
Yeah, which is funny
But
because
yes,
when you
now
do
it's
get in there,
conference.
you're right that nobody's like trying to kill each other, but they're all shit talking each other.
Oh yeah, which I mean,
Yeah, and
you
of
kind of
course.
expect that based on how these people have already been interacting
Specifically, the Zoa
or
and
talking about
Nergal.
each other. Yeah, the ones who are already at war.
That makes sense. Yeah. Um, yeah. So everything's getting a little out of hand, and then of course the person to silence everyone is Amy, who just
I
shouts
love
"quiet."
that. I love that. Well, after Sonic chooses a dialogue option, so in my mind, it was Sonic tried to get all their attention. They ignored him, so Amy screamed at them all to shut up.
You're so right. That's definitely true.
Good character moment.
Yeah, that was a really good character
Yeah.
moment.
So yeah, we have to coordinate to force our way through the force field around the Nocturne, basically, and everybody has their own
Right.
prescribed role that they work out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. The
Yeah.
Voxai psychically scan the force field for weaknesses. Then the Zoa fire the Nagarl out of a cannon. That they must really like that. Um, that's equipped with ore from the Kron that deflects energy. And then on top of the force field, Nergal then drain it to make a hole that you can slip through. That's the plan. And if it wasn't clear, then Shade's like, oh, wow. So Ix turned everyone against each other because he knew that if everyone teamed up against him, that would be really bad.
Yep.
Yeah. So yes, everyone comes together for the final assault. That's what's happening. But there's one thing that has to happen, and it is the final update to the Son Amy route.
Oh yeah.
So, pro tip, you have to, as soon as Tails says, do you want to go, Sonic? You have to be like, yes, let's go. And that's when you get the dialogue. If you say, no, I want to stay, and you do mess around, and then you come back and you're just like, no, I want to go now, then the route just doesn't complete. It's probably bugged. Don't think that was on purpose. But if anyone trying to get the Son Amy ending, that's what you have to do. Anyway, if you do that correctly, then Amy is like, oh, hey, Sonic, can I talk to you for a second? Alone. And then everyone else is like, what's up, Amy? Like, you could talk in front of us. And then she's like, no, get out. And they're like, okay. So then Amy is like, well, Sonic, we're about to go and face a serious force here. We might not even make it out. So I just have to know, do you really feel anything for me at all?
God.
And then if you take, of course, I care for you a lot as your dialogue option, then Amy automatically assumes, yes, great. So we're boyfriend and girlfriend now. Cool. I can't wait to tell everyone. Like, Sonic doesn't say that. She just assumes that's the case. And then you can just choose not to disagree with her. You could be like, all right, well, let's go save the world now. So it's not like blatantly out of character to just be like, I'm not going to fight this fight because we're going to go fight a fight right now. But it is slightly out of character. However, the funniest ending to this route is what happens if you divert out of it at the last second, which of course usually happens in this sort of situation.
Right. Yeah.
What you could do is when she says, "Oh, do you care about me at all?" Then you can be like, "Oh no, don't be silly." And then she's like, "Oh, okay, well that sounds about right." But after she says that sounds about right, then you can be like, wait a second, Amy. No, I actually do care for you. And then she's like, what? What are you talking about? Make up your mind, Sonic. Do you know what it's like to be pushed around by a boy you like? Grow up! And then she storms off.
Amazing.
Incredible.
It's a great bit of dialogue. This is where Sonic Chronicles shines, I tell you.
Honestly, its writing really is where it shines.
Does at any point she admit that Dexter wasn't real? Also, she hasn't brought him up in a long time, from my perspective.
Yeah, it's a more boring ending to this route. But at one point in this dialogue tree, you can, after she's like, "Oh, we're boyfriend and girlfriend," you can be like, well, "What about Dexter?" And then she's like,
that's what I did."
Then she's like, "Oh, I just made Dexter up. Don't be silly. Yeah, don't worry about it."
She didn't even consider the possibility that Sonic would actually have believed the lie.
Yeah, because it's so obvious.
Alright, well, it's very funny that even in the game where the player has the most agency over Sonic and Amy's relationship, you still can't get Sonic to explicitly agree to anything.
Of course.
No, and I'm glad they didn't go that far.
No, it's kind of more funny that way.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and do that plan to finally break into the Nocturne. Everything goes out without a hitch, basically.
Yeah.
Yep, they do the plan, you get inside, and that's cool. And this is another point of no return. Once you get in, there's no going back, which makes sense. And you should be prepared for that.
Right.
They make it pretty clear. So,
sure.
Yeah, we got a big floating temple in the middle of space. No atmosphere on this one. It's like everywhere else had sky colors, but not this one.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why that is, but it makes a good atmosphere.
Yeah, which is then destroyed because you hear the music.
Oh god, the music is like really beep boop.
It is.
I don't know any better way to describe
final
it.
boss theme mangled to high hell.
God.
It probably sounds that way to someone who has heard the final boss theme when they heard this, but I hadn't fought to the end of Sonic 3 when I first played this game. With like Central City, I'm like, I hear it now and I'm like, okay, yeah, it was probably kind of grating to people who haven't heard it a million times. Nocturne, yeah, I mean, it's certainly inferior to the Sonic 3 final boss theme, but I don't think it sounds horrible.
No,
I think it
I
actually kind
I
of
don't
fits
think
with the
it's
vibe.
yeah, I don't think it's
no,
bad.
here's the thing. Here's the thing: is that Central City. This is worse than that to me because, well, A, I already love the Sonic 3 boss theme, so yes, that's part of it. But B, the notes, the the rhythm is wrong in some parts. It,
Okay, yeah, I'm glad I kind of noticed that
the
too.
beat isn't quite right. Um,
I
which
think
you
the
know,
problem is that you're hearing the Sonic 3 Final Boss theme in your head, and you're like, "That's wrong." But if you just listen to
I
his own piece of music, it
guess
I
fair
don't
doesn't
think
really
enough.
have that
I
problem.
wouldn't do that anyway, though. It still sounds like blarpy DS MIDI.
Well, Blarpy DS midis can sound good. That's the thing. I don't think this is a good example of a Blarpy DS MIDI. This game has other examples that aren't that bad.
Yeah, I
All
won't
right, all
defend it
right.
endlessly, but
We
with this one, I'm like, it's perfectly fine, honestly, in my opinion.
we
It's
can't
whatever.
we can't keep doing this. We have to just play the game. Um,
Do we? We already did.
We have to talk about it, though. We're
No,
not done
there we
talking
Gizoids,
go.
about it.
Gizoids, two
Gizoids,
of
yeah.
them,
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
and they're named Scylla
Yep.
and Carib.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, these are the prefects, not perfects. I did not know the word prefect when I played this game as a kid. I thought they were perfect, Cherub and Scylla. No, no, they preside over the two halves of the Twilight Cage, which is why the Twilight Cage is named those. And then you're like,
Exactly.
okay, well then why are they named Cherub and Scylla? It's because they're, as we mentioned before, they're named after the
Scylla and Charybdis.
yeah, the monsters, which I looked into it, and their power sets are not necessarily consistent through all myths, which makes
Not
sense.
really.
But
Yeah, because
what they were what the interpretation they were going for, which is at least shown sometimes, is that Scylla has like fire, breathes
right.
fire, and Cherub like swallows the sea. So yeah,
Yeah.
you've got the fire and the water Gizoids, which I mean they're mostly just recolors. They have like different things on their heads, so like they're slightly different designs, but yeah, not
Yeah.
largely different. I mean, they're mostly supposed to be like mass-produced soldiers. I guess these are the leaders, so they're different colors at least.
Yeah.
But
I mean, these are the
I don't
leaders. These are the
expect
ones
something
that
huge.
talk more than just like robots.
yeah, they have voices
That's
and
true.
personalities, or
Right.
personality singular. I don't really remember
Yeah.
shit about Charybdis. Scylla is like they make him crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Scylla's the crazy one. Cherub is more level-headed. There is one little funny moment I'll touch on later with Cherub specifically, but yeah. So they're just like, well, catch us if you can. We have the Chaos Emeralds, rah! And then they sound the alarm and run away.
So they are, they're super strong. So naturally, instead of using all our power to take them out all at once, we have to split into two teams to get the Chaos Emeralds they're guarding.
Yeah.
Because you could only have a party of 4. If you brought all 10 characters with you, it wouldn't do you any better.
It's ludonarrative dissonance. Anyway,
There is actually a reason for they're splitting up, though. I mean, initially they're like, oh, we have to move fast in order to stop Ix because, well, the Nocturne starts moving. Actually, that's kind of a big point. So
Oh, yeah.
they're making their move. They're moving towards the portal, out of the Twilight Cage. So yeah, that's true. Time is kind of the essence. Yeah, but yeah, you're doing the party split thing again, which we already talked about that before. I think it's cool. You
Yeah.
have your opinions. That's fine. It kind of makes sense for a final
I had enough items, so
area.
it's whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, you do Sonic's party for a second, then I don't know that anything happens, and you just go back to Knuckles, and this is
Yeah,
when
you
you get
switch
a little
back and forth a lot.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
kind of feels a little random.
often for reasons, but not the first time, I don't think. Shade is with Knuckles' party, and Shade talks to Knuckles, and they're like, Knuckles, we're just so cool. We could have easily taken out the two Gizoids without splitting up, and we would have made it in time. So what's the real reason that we split up? And then Knuckles is like, well, it's because I want to talk to Ix, and I don't want Sonic to muck up the conversation. Which, yeah, if there's any chance of negotiating with him, that's true. That's the right move. But then Shade is like, no, there's no chance of negotiating with Ix. Because over time, in the Twilight Cage, he's gone crazy. So maybe I just remembered that subconsciously when I talked about it before. But yeah, according to Shade, he has actually just gone crazy over time in the Twilight Cage, which might not be an actual effect of the cage, It could just be, that he's locked up, got a little stir crazy, and maybe he's getting a little old. I don't know. But yeah, he
She was on
apparently
his
that's
side up to this point, so it's
why.
weird that she's more against him than Knuckles.
Probably one of those things where you don't notice change as much if it's gradual, but in retrospect, you can be like, oh yeah, he is a little bit of a maniac now. But yeah, I mean, it's true. It is. We talked about how Shade's turn is bizarre in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little funny comment here when you're flying across a little section. Knuckles explicitly says, "Hang on to me. We have to fly," which means everyone hangs on to flying characters like Sonic Heroes in this game.
Which is very funny if you like put Omega and Big on Knuckles' team or something.
They can manage it apparently.
My dreads just generate that much lift.
I guess. So the first major roadblock here are the Gizoid Centurions that you face, which are just Gizoids with sparklies. They don't look any different, but they have a different title.
Yeah.
This is well, I guess they had to do the trope at some point with a force loss, because yeah, that's what this is. I mean, as soon as you start missing every attack and doing almost no damage if you use a power move, it should be apparent. It is a little annoying though that you have to sort of just face tank for a little bit.
Yeah, you have to kind of play out the script the game has handed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. But the real bit of annoyance here, to me, is not that it's a forced loss, but actually that if you know what you're doing, and it helps a lot if you're a New Game Plus too, as you might imagine, you can totally beat this fight. It is totally doable. All you have to do.
Oh yeah, I almost did it by cheating.
Oh, well, so I guess you know what I mean then.
Yeah.
The optimal way to do it, though, although you might have had unusually enhanced stats, depending on what
I
cheats you were
definitely
using.
did, but I definitely could have beaten this fight if I hadn't fucked up my power moves.
Okay. It's usually pretty close. If you equip Chow that give you elemental attacks that target their weaknesses, and you use multi-hit attacks like Omega's Machine Gunner, then you can rack up more damage because you do fixed 1 damage, but you can do 2 damage if you hit their weakness. Although they're totally vulnerable to status effects, and yes, you can poison robots in this game. They didn't think about that apparently. And poison is where you can get the real damage to rack up over time. And yet you can just barely not quite beat them because the battle cuts off. So like you could beat them, but the game just doesn't let you. And it infuriates me. Just as you're about to win, it's like, no, you have to lose. Stop.
Stop it. You must lose now.
I want you to remember, Omega was affected by the Black Arm's paralyzing gas, so poison just works on robots in Sonic. That's just a canon fact.
Oh
my gosh, you're right. I forgot about that. All right, so to help with the Gizoids and Turnians, they're supposed to be invincible, but they didn't actually program to be invincible. They're like, Tails, help. And so Tails is like, well, okay, this is convenient. We're in like a Gizoid factory right now. Let me like stare at them for like 30 seconds. Oh, I found their weakness.
How many do you have to look at? 3, 4?
I think it's 4 of them. But
another interesting bug here, real quick. Yeah, mild bug. Every time I would enter one of the rooms with the non-active Gizoids, they'd be T-posing.
Yeah.
So getting into a fight with a Gizoid enemy changes the pose of the broken ones.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, that was a weird glitch. I wish I wasn't playing on my 3DS, so I could have gotten some screenshots or screen grabs of it.
All right.
If you have the right tools, you can screenshot even on your 3DS. But...
yeah, I mean, my 3DS is modded, so it's like, I know there's ways I can do it. I just am lazy.
Anyhow, so Tails finds a weakness real fast. Like, literally in the middle of Knuckles and Shade fighting them, he can find a weakness and send it to them over the communicator, and because he's just that good. Also, Tails mentions at one point, wow, I wish Eggman could see this. There are actually a few other times in the game that he mentions, like, oh, I wish I could show this off to Eggman. I forgot to mention them up until now, though. So, yeah, apparently he really enjoyed the working relationship.
SEGA does this every once in a while, where they paint the potential of Eggman and Tails having a non-adversarial relationship. Frontiers does a little bit with that too, where Eggman's like, he has so much potential, but he's not evil.
Right. Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea. I sometimes wish they would do more with it.
I'll see how IDW handles things because I don't really remember what they do with like all the Mr. Tinker stuff in that. But,
Oh, and as far as I've read, there's not much of it.
anywho,
All right. So
Yeah.
before I say anything, I have to ask. So after it switched back to Knuckles, did you fight the Centurions?
Yeah.
yes.
Huh.
Do you not have
Do you
to?
not have
Okay,
to?
neither you missed it. The devs messed up again.
Oh my god.
Normally, when there's a bit of dialogue and then a battle, the game freezes your character in place so you can't run away
Sure.
from them. But
Oh my god.
they just didn't do that here. So you
That's
could
so
just walk away from
dumb.
the Centurions and skip the fight.
That's
It's
so
hilarious.
stupid.
That's
Yeah, it's obviously an oversight, but
Yeah.
it's great. It's very helpful because I mean the Centurions they're just boring. They're just Gizoids again, but
Fair
higher
enough.
stats. There's nothing to them. Who cares? After you get rid of their invincibility, anyway. I would have
this.
beaten them before anyway. So who cares?
This game is special.
It truly is. So after you somehow get away from them, then I think that's when you walk up to, yeah, that's when I think you see Scylla briefly, and he like calls Knuckles a porcupine, which is weird because like, dude, you're around
Yeah,
echidnas
you
all
were
the
made
time,
by porcupines,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
but he's crazy, so you just can't be, you just can't think about it too hard, apparently. Um, then it switched to Team Sonic, and this is an annoying part. You go
Yes,
into
indeed.
Cherub's lair.
Oh, this. Yeah.
He floods the chamber,
Damn.
Gotta have a water level even in the RPG,
Oh
apparently.
god,
complete
yeah.
with having to stand under bubbles to not drown.
Interesting they used your POW meter for your breath.
Uh,
It's like Super
in
Mario
part, if your
64, where
power
you
meter
can
runs
restore
Yeah,
out,
your
then
health.
yeah.
it starts draining health instead.
Oh, okay.
That is
Yeah,
true, yeah.
I never had to deal with that, so that's interesting to learn.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's not the worst part of this, though. The
No.
worst part of this is that when you enter a battle, you can't run and you can't use POW moves, which I've talked about how garbage basic attacks are in this game. So have fun being forced to use only them in the final area of the game. Like, how mean can you be?
That is
Gosh.
really mean.
Yeah, this bit, it's like, for one thing, it drags on because battles in this game are already long, and now we can't even use the things that can end them quicker.
Right.
But it's also that, I'm constantly running between bubbles and trying to not enter battles because I don't want to have to repeat any of this shit because I don't know that I'm going to be able to survive any individual encounter. Especially since I don't
Yeah,
think I brought... no, actually, I did bring Cream on Team Sonic, but it doesn't do anything because she can't use her healing.
exactly. Yeah, I hope you have a stock of items here, or you're really good at avoiding enemies in the field. You can avoid every fight up until the boss if you just know what you're doing, and
I
but
have to
yeah,
wonder if they
it's
tested
bad.
this under, like, the worst possible scenarios, like, no items
Hmm.
under... or maybe not under-leveled, but, not having points
Well,
in the right areas.
game testing is done under literally every scenario, so they definitely did.
I mean, you say that, but it's like, it's this game.
Or as many well, this game definitely had trouble development, but in an optimal world, game testing is done under as many scenarios as the developers can think
Well,
of.
Lauren's the challenge runner here, so what's the hardest challenge you've done where this was still doable, I guess?
Well, you can just avoid the basic fights here. I
Sure.
never bothered to do basic battles. I never did like a kill everything run or anything like that. That's just kind of boring. So I've never really
Alright.
tested the limits of these fights. Certainly, though, if you don't invest in attack, yeah, I could totally see you bricking yourself here at this part in the game. I
Yeah,
mean, not
yeah.
truly bricking yourself because you could get lucky with their
Yeah,
misses and your attacks.
it's like
And
RNG, basically.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. If you have the wrong setups, you could be in trouble. It's extremely unlikely, though, because by this point in the game, you'll probably have a healthy stock of healing items, so you
Oh
can
god,
probably
yes.
just heal your way through it. It's extremely unlikely you get bricked here, but I could totally see it happening.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's no, it's not true because you can avoid the fights if you just avoid them in the field. But you can be put in a situation where you enter a battle and you just have to reload. That is true.
Anywho,
So that was the safeguard against it, was the fact that you can technically avoid all the fights.
I guess I didn't do a very good job avoiding them because they're right in your way. It's not like it's easy to avoid.
Oh yeah, no, certainly. Yeah, I usually don't explore this area and collect the items until after the water's already drained. Um,
That makes sense.
So yeah, then you go up to Cherub, and you have another forced loss, which is weird. They were just having so much fun here. That was just their thing, I guess, at the end of the game here.
Yeah, it's all
But
underwater,
once
so you just can't
again,
do anything.
Mm.
yeah, this is a more boring one, but that doesn't mean that you can't still theoretically beat it if the game just didn't cut you off. The strategy for this fight is to equip earth or water rings because the water Gizoid is weak to water. I don't know.
Huh?
But those are their weaknesses, and then it gives their basic
Huh.
attacks to those elements, and then you equip the Spartoid Chow, ideally leveled up to level 3 to have the highest chance of inflicting instant knockout, which does not instant knock out them because they're a boss, but it does stun them, which cancels their HP regeneration. So then you can kind of just stun lock them, especially if you have a party with the most possible actions. If you bring like Shadow and Sonic and 2 people with 2 actions, such that you can just whittle them down. You can do like, I don't know, 50 damage or something in the few turns you have. Not all that much, but enough to prove that you could totally beat this fight if it didn't cut you off. So once again, I am annoyed.
Mm.
All right, well, that's how Carib is going. Anyway, here's Scylla instead.
Yeah, they don't have a gimmick at all. I mean, it's not like I'm super like wanting there to be some annoying gimmick with Scylla, but it is kind of weird that like they're the fire Gizoid, and yet they have almost nothing to do with fire. I mean, their lair is like near some lava rivers. So that's kind of cool, I guess. But like in battle, they're like their basic attack is like a small blast of fire, I guess. But that's it. Otherwise, the association with fire is almost not there at all.
Well, and that's really the thing is that Scylla and Carib, once you drain the water at least, they're really just they might as well be any other Gizoid after that.
Yeah,
point.
they don't feel like they're all that interesting.
They can do a lot of damage, but
Sure.
Yeah, for some odd reason, they didn't do the whole point of Gizoids in that they don't copy your moves at all, actually, with these two. They are different than Gizoids in that they don't have POW move copying. Ideally, I would have had them like copy like stronger POW moves, but the devs didn't think about that for some reason. I mean, they have 700 HP, which is like not that much actually. Even if you're not cheating, at this point in the game, you can dish out so much damage that you can literally knock these guys out in one round. It's not hard to do at all.
That really doesn't surprise me for an RPG end game.
I mean, if you scale it correctly, it doesn't have to be a problem. Of course, a lot of games fall into the opposite issue where they give away too much health to enemies. So I guess I might prefer this to that. But
this does
still,
make you feel like you're a badass.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. Yeah, all these Gizoids really have to them is, well, I mean, they do have really high damage. They can do like 100 damage to you if they hit you. And they do have a party-wide Mighty Slash POW move that hits everyone, but it's a POW move, so like you're not going to take any damage from that. You're probably pretty practiced at this point in the game. So yeah, they're by and large not really much of a problem. So yeah, you beat up Scylla, and then conveniently in Scylla's lair, there's a button to drain the water in Cherub's lair. I have to imagine if these two had like a rivalry going, I could totally see that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so that was the reason that Scylla like sabotaged Cherub's lair and had like this button or something. That's my headcanon anyway.
I
Because
don't
otherwise
want Gizoid
it makes
rivalry.
no sense.
I want that layer to I want that lever to be placed there because of trust. I don't want Gizoid rivalry. I want Gizoid romance.
Oh, wow. That you might be the first person to ever suggest a pairing between these two characters. That's
Scylla and Carib
that's
crack
insane.
ship.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a trailblazer in the Sonic community.
Damn.
That's amazing. Okay. Anyhow, so you beat up Scylla, and then Cherub doesn't have water anymore. But there's a really funny moment here, because like you're in the middle of fighting Cherub here, and then you just get a call from Knuckles that's like, "Oh hey, I found a way to drain the water," and Sonic's like, "Great, go ahead."
Yeah,
but
go on.
Cherub is like, "Huh? Wait, we're fighting here," and Sonic's like, "Oh, be quiet, I'm taking a call."
I love that. That was good. Like, shush you.
It's so funny because they'll be able to they'll have a diegetic conversation about taking a phone call in the middle of battle, but not about talking underwater.
Don't worry
Oh,
about
I
it.
mean, the Sonic comics taught me that was possible.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is based off them, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
This is based off them, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So, yeah, both the Gizoid prefects are down and their Chaos Emeralds are taken. They really should have like used those Chaos Emeralds, and they are Gizoids, but
Yeah.
maybe they're programmed explicitly not to, because then they would go crazy if they did. So I can hand wave that pretty easily.
Fair enough.
Apparently. All right. Well, yes, we are in endgame. Everything converges on Ix's chamber, and we have. Do we have all 7 emeralds, or does he still have one?
We have all
No, you have
7.
all 7 of them because
He has the
apparently,
Master Emerald.
yeah, they have the Master Emerald. Apparently, you need the Master Emerald and 1 Chaos Emerald to move all of Nocturne, because as soon as you take the last one, that's when it stops moving. I don't know how that works. Like, is it bigger than Angel Island?
Good question. I guess it would be if it's like a chunk of an act of. Well, no. No. I don't know.
Angel
Actually,
Island's
Angel
pretty
Island is a
big.
damn continent.
yeah, Angel Island's a continent.
Anyway, yeah, that's how that works.
Right.
So yeah, now you have all the Chaos Emeralds at this point, but they still have the Master Emerald, so they can be dangerous,
Yep.
and they're still a megalomaniac that needs to be stopped. But Knuckles is like, all right, they were delayed by the water. Now they have to beat up Cherub. So now's our chance to run in and talk to Ix. So that's what Knuckles' party is going to do. Or Knuckles is
indeed.
just going to talk, but they're going to come with him. Anyway, um,
He regales
So-
us with his tragic backstory about how we almost killed the Knuckles clan, but the Argus event stole us from our dimension, so we had to go to war in the Twilight Cage instead. That's not tragic, he's just an asshole.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we were going to be megalomaniacs in one universe, and we got sucked into the Phantom Zone, so now we're assholes here.
yeah, his logic isn't really that great. What he was trying to say was that like, the Twilight Cage made us the truly fierce force that we are today. That's the only
Sure.
reason we look so terrible now. Before those other wars were not nearly as notable as what we have now. So like, everyone has wars. It just happens, man. But not everyone is a super technological megalomaniac.
See, but he
But
also says
it's excusable though.
he also says that he united the races of the Twilight Cage by enslaving them. So I was thinking it's, this is the white echidna's burden, This is my cross to
My
bear. I have to be an oppressive warmonger for their benefit.
Jesus.
I kind of think that is what he's getting at.
It does kind of feel that way, but that is.
Well, the weird fucking thing is that
Oof.
Knuckles is like, you might have a point there. It's no, he doesn't.
Look, it's still Knuckles.
I guess.
You
It-
only
it
ask
is
for
still
so much
Knuckles.
from him.
Yeah. Also, side note, Ix has his headdress and his dialogue portraits here, so I don't know why he didn't back on Angel Island. That probably just a goof again. But yeah, Knuckles here is like, I guess he just really misses having the Echidnas around. I guess, even though I think he wasn't. Even though, is it explicitly established in game canon whether how old he was when, or is his origin even touched on in the games? Wait a
We
minute.
have
don't think
no
it's ever
idea
really
exactly what happened to Knuckles. We have no idea if he ever knew his parents.
Right.
There's really nothing to it. So we have no idea
Huh.
if Knuckles has ever met another Echidna or if he just exists completely independent of them. I don't think that Echidnas lay eggs in main canon, so I don't think it's just like his egg was left
Damn.
there.
Uh-huh.
Because he has clothing and he speaks English, so that has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for whatever reason, Knuckles really wants the Echidnas to come back. And so, yeah, he's like, it's a very tempting offer. There's one thing, though, that stops Knuckles from turning to the dark side.
Yeah.
And he's like, you crossed the line, though, I'm afraid, Ix, when you stole
my
the
emerald.
Master Emerald.
It's so funny.
Honestly, it's great.
You
It's
would
kinda
have
great, yeah.
recruited me to the evil side, but you
You
stole this
stole
rock,
my shit.
so that
You-
means you have to die.
You stole my shit, so I must kill you.
The fact that he's evil is completely secondary to all this.
It's like, yeah, whatever. You're also a megalomaniac. Yeah, whatever. I can hand wave that.
Yeah.
It's just so funny that I'll just accept it. I mean, he is like, it's my solemn duty, and it's like Knuckles' whole thing. So like, It, it,
Yeah,
it makes sense that he definitely wouldn't cross that line, but the fact that he might have crossed the other line, I don't know. It's hard. It's kind of it's weird, but yeah.
yeah.
So then Ix is like, all right, great, let's fight then.
We finally face off against Ix and his evil floating Wi-Fi receivers. What are these things?
Power
Yeah, you know what?
pylons, they're
Sure,
called.
they're routers.
Yeah, I'll explain the boss here. So, they did try with this boss. They tried to make it threatening and worthy of a final encounter. Although there are 3 more fights after this, of course, it's an RPG. But unfortunately, it falls a little flat. Okay, so going for it, this boss always ambushes you, which is pretty cool and doesn't usually happen in a boss battle. So right off the bat, it shoots you a big old blast of energy. It looks awesome. Probably does like over 100 damage, and it does splash damage to the characters as well. It does have a really high damage stat here. That's what the power pylons do. Is as long as they're active, it increases Ix's damage.
Okay.
So the gimmick of this fight is supposed to be, okay, you can take out the power pylons to weaken Ix, and then you can take out Ix. But they totally screwed it up because 2 problems. One, each of the power pylons has 300 health. So together that's 600 health. That's almost as much as the boss. You look at that and you're like, wait a second, but the boss has 1,600 health, which might actually be reasonable for this point in the game. But wrong, it's not true. It's a lie. It only has 800 health. I think it says that because you fight him and then you fight the same thing again and then it has 800 health. So I think the idea is like one party takes out half of it, the other party takes out the other half. Why are their minions almost as tough as them? Other problem, if you do take out the power pylons, they will just instantly resummon them as their action. So what's the point? So yeah, but this boss failed at its central gimmick, and instead you should just all out rush the boss. And 800 health is hardly more than the Gizoids. So yeah, once again, you can just take this boss out in 1 round at this point in the game. Most
Nice
likely.
argument. Unfortunately, Quake Punch. Just keep putting everything to sleep. You can't do anything.
Yeah, or just stun lock them.
Now, why you can put a Wi-Fi
work.
router to sleep, I don't know, but
You know what? I have
The
Comcast.
Wi-Fi
I can
routers
believe
don't have
that.
any actions.
yeah, like for all you're saying that like, oh, they tried to make this, like a strategy fight. It's really easy. It's not hard.
No, not
Oh no,
well,
that was my conclusion at the end. There was you can
I
just
can.
kill it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
not
yeah,
hard.
no, it's not that hard. Then I remembered I can't talk on difficulty anymore.
True, because you're cheating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
guess
just
I'm
really
cheating
not a
too,
hard
but I'm
fight.
pretty sure that my stats are like at this point have plateaued. I think I'm pretty
Sure.
close.
Well,
to
because you
normal
just had an EXP cheat, right? You didn't do
So-
anything else, right?
Yeah.
I started off with an EXP cheat, and then I just gave up and maxed out my stats.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, we that fight. What Lauren means when he says it only has this amount of health is that it ends before you drain his health completely.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, Ix goes crazy and stuff, and Knuckles says, Sonic actually united the Twilight Cage by creating unity between its races. That's what that word means, man.
Yeah.
So then
Mm.
Team Sonic fights Ix instead. They break in, they're like, hey, it's us, motherfucker, and they fight.
Yeah. So then you just fight the same boss with the other party.
It's not the exact
No
same
difference.
boss. Or is it?
No, it is.
Am I thinking around 3?
It is. Yeah, you're thinking of round 3
You're
because
thinking of 3,
this
yeah.
final boss has 4 parts because it's an RPG. Like I said, it's got to happen
Yeah.
for the final boss.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the same boss first. Then you beat him up, and then Ix, he just broke his throne, I guess.
He gets out of the big stupid chair.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, actually, I don't even know what he says, honestly. I think he just spouts something more about how like you can never stop me, you worms, or something. But then Knuckles is like, well, just distract him for a moment, Sonic, and I'll go grab the Master Emerald. Which, yeah, solid plan. I
Yep.
could see that working. So yeah, that's when you have the different fight, which I can feel. I can feel what you're about to talk about, Devin. I think I'll let you comment on this fight initially.
Okay, so for starters, this time he has 2 big buff Gizoid guards that just use normal Gizoid icons for some reason. But
Yeah, they look
importantly,
different though.
okay, so wait, he is trying to take control. Knuckles is trying to get the Master Emerald. We're distracting him so Knuckles can get the Master Emerald. And they start the fight by running away?
I don't get it. it doesn't make any sense. There's no explanation for this. When you were
Yeah.
fighting Shadow, he was running from you, but here,
Yeah, and so I tried to fail this on purpose because I wanted to see what would happen. Um, and I mean, I guess I technically did fail it in that it didn't work. Um, but I just took damage. I just let it run and waited to see what happened. Nothing interesting happens. You take damage until you catch up with them. They can get to the max thing and they'll never actually get
Yeah.
away.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I didn't think that's what you were about to say. That's funny because as a kid, I actually took it to its limit. If you just wait and don't touch anything, keep letting the orbs hit you, you can't wait until they get to the very end of the trail on the top screen. But if you run out of health on all your characters and are reduced to literally 1 HP, then then the chase will stop and then the
Huh.
enemies will get an ambush on you and just kill you. I thought that's what happened to you. I was like, that's hilarious. But
Oh,
no. Because
no.
as a kid, I had the idea of like, well, wait, why do I need to catch them? And I just like set my DS down for a minute or something. Uh, and then I saw that happen. Yeah, you lose if you take it to its ultimate extreme. Uh,
Oh.
but you just waited a little bit, so you didn't play it out the whole way.
Well, I just wanted to see what happened when they got to the end, but it didn't do anything.
Yeah, no, the distance marker is a lie, but yeah, you can actually run it out if you run
Well,
out
and
of health.
it's not worth
But
it, especially since if you are trying to catch up with them, it still takes a while.
oh yeah, it doesn't seem like you can catch up with them at all except when you use the speed boosters. So yeah, if you mess up even once, it sets you back quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Well, and
Here, not
I
like it
haven't.
should
I
be
don't know if
hard at
I've
this
talked
point.
about what an annoying friggin' doing the running sections with a mouse in this game is not great
Oh.
because
It was already
Oh,
mildly annoying with a with a
the perspective
stylus.
for clicking on things is a little weird. But
Mm.
okay. I keep forgetting that you're playing this with a mouse. That's terrible. It's terrible. That's not a
at
challenge run I would ever do.
at this point, the QTE moves have gotten they're not that hard for me. Is the thing.
Makes
Um,
sense.
I guess you can get a knack of it eventually. It just would throw me off after playing with a stylus for so long.
Anywho,
Um,
the actual battle, it's just more of the same, honestly.
Yeah.
He has some hard inputs, like for Dark Anomaly, but
yeah, he has Dark Anomaly again, and then he also has Dark Matter, which instantly knocks you out if you mess it up enough. Um, but you're unlikely to see those because it's the same situation again where well actually it's worse this time because uh Ix running away from you actually takes their turn. So you actually get an ambush round on them effectively where they don't take any actions the first round of combat. So if you just completely wail on Ix, you can kill them before they even get an action. It's even
huh.
worse than the first fight. Um, so yeah, you're unlikely to even see anything they can do. Not that they're particularly tough; they're weaker than their prior form, really. They do have the Gizoid Guardians, though, that you mentioned, which are the bulky Gizoids that wield spears. I mean, it's a unique design, but kind of strange. Doesn't quite scream Gizoid, because again, they don't do any of their move copying
Feels like
things.
it's kind of missing the point of what characterizes Schizoids.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. Um, the the Guardians aren't. I mean, they're bulky, but they're not very strong. So you take out Ix probably, and then you just kind of whittle them down, and then
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, it's not much to it.
Well, that was the last real fight in the game. So
Mm-hmm.
True.
Knuckles gets the Master Emerald. Except then he doesn't. Ix just kind of takes it. I don't really know what happens here.
So it appears as though Knuckles grabs the Master Emerald, and then Ix is like, "You fool! Uh, I am just going to absorb the Master Emerald now because it disappears, and then Ix goes super."
I guess. Oh, so I guess it's kind of like Knuckles' dad in movie 2 or something? I don't know.
I don't know. I was getting comic flashbacks again because villains like to power up with the Master Emerald all the time.
Oh, it's Master Mogul. He
Yeah,
belongs
kind
in
of.
this game. Anyway,
You could kind of fit.
yeah, so Ix takes the emerald and powers up, but luckily he doesn't care about the Chaos Emeralds because they just don't in this game. So Sonic goes super to counter this. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's big final boss time, and you do a lot of special attack inputs between two characters, neither of whom have any displayed health.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is a fight you just can't lose.
I think you could probably lose. I think it just doesn't tell you
Oh.
what your health is because it wants you to think that it doesn't matter.
Well, because you're supersonic. It should have been however many rings you are currently holding.
Oh
Oh my
god.
gosh, that would have been perfect. Although if
You
you didn't
spend
have
all
any,
your
I don't know how
money and
that
then the
works.
final boss becomes infinitely more challenging.
You have like 3 health.
That would be funny, honestly. But no. Yeah, you can lose the fight. It is true, but
Okay.
it is very unlikely to happen.
I can
Um,
imagine, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I get what they were going for, like
Sure. A
the
big
the
spectacle.
QT, yeah, the big spectacle, the QTEs are what you've been practicing this whole game, so a whole bunch of them. Um, but yeah, I mean, I didn't think about just as a show off sort of a thing. I suppose that makes sense. It's just annoying as it's the last fight in the game and it's completely trivial. Um,
Yeah, I get that.
Although the thing that really annoys me here is I really like the music track in this fight, which has its own music track just for this one fight. And you can't even hear the whole loop in game because the fight is so short.
My God.
And
So
because
just
it
serve it.
progresses automatically.
Yeah, it is compressed as usual. I'd really like to hear an uncompressed version of this music track, but um, yeah, I mean it sounds kind of otherworldly. I don't know, it's just cool. I'm bad at music critique, but it's neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you beat up X, woo, you win, yay.
Very not that challenging.
Not
So,
really.
Ix is defeated, everyone is exhausted and drawn with these extremely weird looking stills. What is going on with Shade's face?
Yeah.
Shade's face kind of looks melty.
Yeah. But Ix is defeated, although he does set the portal out of the cage to close. So we gotta rush out. We gotta do a Metroid escape sequence. Except not really, because it's all in cutscene.
Yeah, we don't get to play any of it. I don't know. I don't know what they would have done for gameplay.
I don't
wise,
actually
guess.
want to do that, so
No, God, no. I was done with this game when by the time this fight was over.
but everybody files back on the ship, and so we have to. Oh, it's extremely tense. All the portals closing, getting closer. We're just leaving all those races behind that we united, as well as Nocturnus, to just be trapped there. I hope Shade wasn't gonna miss anybody. I hope she didn't have any friends.
Okay, so to be fair, I mean you beat up Ix, and then like you said, Ix is it's a sort of, well, if you can't escape the
No, I
cage,
mean
then
it's
no
not
one
it's not their
can.
choice
Or
to
if
do
I
it that
can't,
way.
then you can't.
Yeah.
So like yeah, they have no choice but to just quickly rush out or just be imprisoned forever. So yeah, I mean yeah, it's okay. Well, so I'll say again, there was a sequel planned for this game, and in the sequel, according to an interview with one of the devs, the races were supposed to come out in that. So like
Mm.
they had plans for that, but yeah,
No,
I mean it's a cliffhanger ending.
I think it's just a case of they don't spare a word for any of them. They don't think about it.
You gotta rush
Even
and
after
go.
the ending, they don't say like, oh, we left those guys behind. No, nothing like that.
Nah, because that doesn't matter.
Well, let's talk about the ending, shall we?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We return to Earth, or I don't know, is it Mobius at this point? Who knows?
I don't know.
And our ending is a cliffhanger. Gasp! I can't believe that we already said that multiple times in this playthrough. But
Yeah.
we return home, but we discover, oh no, there's floodlights everywhere and helicopters, because Eggman has taken control of the world while we were gone.
It's all Eggman land.
It's honestly, I mean, yeah, the fact that it was never followed up, very sad, but it's a really cool moment, I think.
Oh, it's a cool moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you fly in triumphantly, or not quite so triumphantly, but you escape at least,
Yeah.
and then you instantly get shot down. And Eggman messages you and is like, "You've been gone a long time. Might have been better if you hadn't returned, but I was hoping you would."
And unlike Sonic Forces, this one actually makes sense because all of the strongest people were away while this happened.
Right.
I could totally see this going down, especially since we never actually got to learn how long it really was. So
Yeah. The only
Right.
people left to form a resistance movement, I guess, are the Chaotix.
oh gosh.
Oh
Well,
Lord.
this is game Chaotix. That's the most competent versions of them, but
True.
Still.
yeah. And yeah, that's where we end. Is that the world is taken over by Eggman, and then this game never got a sequel. So
The fact that this
Uh,
game is effectively its own alternate universe, it does make that kind of funny. That just, oh, Eggman won, now we just give up.
well, I mean, it's not an alternate continuity because it was originally meant
I
to be
know.
canon.
Yeah, I know.
Which is funny given how many things we've seen that contradict that in certain ways now.
I have one little note. It's not super big, but I have to point out that after you get this cliffhanger, there's complete tonal whiplash because of the way the devs decide to do the credits in this game, which
Yeah,
is
they
funny.
just have the characters
Yeah.
talk in third person.
I really hated these credits. I don't know why.
It's pretty corny. I'll admit. But I mean, it's a novel way to do credits, though. I
It
haven't seen a
is.
game do this. I
feel
have to
like
give
I
them some credit for their
but
credits.
I don't know.
It's just it's so strange. We have that ending and then Tails is like, wow, what an ending, huh? Anyway,
Yeah,
Okay,
here's who made this
that bit's
game.
pretty cheesy. But yeah, then they start talking about all the people who made the game, and they have like silly little comments on them, which I won't bring up for the most part. But I do like that eventually Tails just kind of gets tired, and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring in Omega to say the rest of the credits.
I skipped him before he did that.
And the
Oh yeah,
funniest
that's
shit,
true. Because you could just be like, I'm out of here at any time.
Yeah.
let's talk about how the funniest shit happens if you don't get Omega, which is that Tails just runs and grabs him.
What?
I forgot about that. That's true.
If you didn't
What?
pick up Omega as a party member, Tails just like, I'm gonna go find Omega. Shadow, eat your fucking heart out. He's just here.
This is obviously a non-canon moment, but yeah, that is very funny.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
canon-wise, you would have to get Omega, because if Omega's still on Earth when Eggman tries to take over, he'd probably single-handedly stop Eggman.
Yeah, that's
You know,
definitely
that's a good
not how
point.
it went down.
You could actually make the case that if you went to space without picking up any extra party members, the resistance would actually be the Chaotix, Omega, and Cream. And Omega and Cream, that's 98% of Earth's power.
The most
It's
powerful
true.
skill in the universe.
Oh my gosh.
I guess technically Gemroll is there somewhere also.
Yeah, but he doesn't exist in this game.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, you can technically say, oh, what about Mighty and Ray and Fang, Bean, Bark, and Honey? Don't they count?
Well, they
And
might as
no,
well have
they
not
don't.
existed at the time.
They don't. They barely want them to exist in the modern timeline right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's the problem when characters don't recur. It's like they might as well not be there. Again, another problem with long-running series. I have one more comment though on the game, which is that after you beat the game, it then launches you into a New Game Plus, which I mentioned before. It is like the most boring implementation of New Game Plus possible, because all it does is just start you over, but you have your items and levels, but otherwise you just do the game again. So there's no interesting challenge or mix-ups.
Are the enemies even stronger?
No.
You need a body through 90%
you-
of the game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's like New Game Plus the way you're playing Bruce. It's just like I think it's just like if you missed like certain dialogue options or side quests or something, you can go you can go see what they're like there.
See what they were cooking.
The real fun part though is it's great for speedrunners that have this New Game Plus option. You can have New Game Plus speedruns and go through it even faster. That's why I appreciate it.
Fascinating.
That's the closest any of us are going to get to being speedrunners, so good on you for that, Lauren. Okay, so, what to say about this game? I think that even if I was a big turn-based RPG guy, I wouldn't love this game very much.
As someone who is a turn-based RPG fan, it's whatever.
It's not like the worst game I've ever played. I've heard
Not
some
really.
people talk about this thing like it's the death knell for the human race, and I ended up not
No.
hating it as much as I thought I was gonna.
No, I was expecting to hate it a lot more also. It's fine.
I said at the start of this that I am completely biased, and that's still true. But even if I'm trying to think somewhat objectively, some people are like, "Oh, this is the worst Sonic game," and it's not even close.
No, God no.
There are way worse Sonic games. Several.
We have played way worse Sonic games already, and we will play more.
Yeah, probably.
Debatable.
I assume we will at least.
You guys don't
Gotta
like
be at
writers
least a
very much,
few.
so that might happen. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I said my major gripes in this game as we went through it. I think the QTEs weren't really done super well. I think the game's way too easy, which, I mean, it's targeted at young kids, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
Oh, I thought the difficulty was all over the place. So you say, oh, it's too easy. It's like,
It's one of those things where it's a trap that a lot of RPGs fall into, where it's harder early on and then it just becomes a cakewalk later.
I think it's just a
Yeah.
case of, you say it's targeted for kids. I couldn't beat this as a kid.
Admittedly,
No,
you weren't
good.
I mean,
You mean you were never into RPGs even
yeah,
then
I think
either?
No,
if a
but
kid
I
is
beat
interested in
Pokemon.
RPGs,
And I
Pokemon is babby RPG.
Pokemon is way easier than this. That's true. I'll
Pokemon
admit
is
that.
significantly easier than this, and I like Pokemon.
and I got some
Um,
amount of the way into Bowser's Inside Story. That game is really fucking long though. So.
You're not wrong
The Mario
that
and
as a
Luigi
kid,
games
this
are really
game
hard,
gave me.
however.
I would say Mario and Luigi games are harder than this game.
They
though.
are harder than this, but they're not particularly hard.
Well, so they have a high. They probably have a higher skill ceiling, but skill floor
guess.
feels more accessible. I think.
Yeah.
My point is that a lot of the depth of this game, which there isn't a ton of depth, but I mean, there are definitely mechanics in this game. There are lots of different power moves and chow and equipment and stuff you can try out, and they can make things more interesting if you engage with those systems. Really, you don't have to. It's like I said, it's the trap with a lot of RPGs where you just use the same strategy over and over, and it gets you through every single fight in the game.
Yep.
It's the mark of a poorly constructed RPG. I unfortunately have to admit, when you can just do that. But it's not like they didn't put some effort into it. So, like I said, if you do challenge runs and stuff, there's some interest
The
to
game
Yeah, no,
you
has
get out of the
heart.
battle system.
And I would I would never say that there was no appeal to this game. I think that, character writing is obviously the strongest part of this for the
Yeah.
main cast, at least. I think that plot wise, I'm realizing that like not a lot actually happens in this thing. It's kind of a normal Sonic story that just has a lot more dialogue.
Kind of, yeah. I also found that the plot suddenly ramps up. It doesn't really naturally ramp up.
It's very weirdly paced, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it feels very leisurely up until maybe Metropolis, maybe Angel Island.
I'd say Angel Island.
Yeah, well, they want to start it out like a typical sort of a Sonic game, and
I
then
get
throw you into
that.
the
Yeah,
new
I mean,
stuff,
I
sort of
get
thing.
that. It does end up feeling very herky jerky.
Yeah. Well, and it's
Yeah.
it's especially since it's this plot that shoots for the moon and barely hits
Yeah.
the ceiling really in terms of depth, but it's also that it had all of this for a game that feels obviously development hell, etc. But this is an RPG on the DS and not a high budget one, judging by the visuals and audio.
Mm.
And so it feels like this story should have been given to something else. They should have gone a different direction for the first RPG if they were gonna make it like this.
And it feels like it should have been in a real big boy CRPG.
Yeah, something.
Especially being made by fucking BioWare, the granddaddies of the CRPG. I don't think they're actually the grand.
It's such a weird game, man. I'm still scratching my head about this game.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an enigma.
Yeah, it's definitely a very funny game, and I appreciate it for how unique it is among Sonic games. I mean, as you said at the start, the only Sonic RPG, for now, at least. Maybe one day they'll try it again. Although the thing is, this feels like it's burned the reputation of that at this point.
Well,
Izuka said as recently as a couple months ago that he wants to do a Sonic RPG, and it's very funny because he says we've yet to do a Sonic RPG, and I want to. It's like, dude.
He means SEGA.
He means directly developed, yeah.
Game.
But it is a very funny remark. Yeah, I mean, because they choose to ignore this game, which somewhat not by choice, somewhat by choice. But I think it's one of those. It's honestly just the perfect encapsulation of the Sonic experience, as usual. Where it's like you've got some good, you've got some bad, and it's just kind of odd,
weird
as a whole.
Yeah. This game is like glimpsing into an alternate timeline, is what it feels like. Because you do wonder if Kenny Pendejo had not fucked things up, would this game have still gotten a sequel? I know that we attribute that to its cancellation in part, but it's also possible that they just may have not thought it was worth it. And just if they had done that, the state of the canon would be so radically different.
Yeah, this game maintained its canonicity, and it got its sequel. Assuming it sold well enough to get a sequel and reviewed well enough.
Yeah. It reviewed decently, I think.
That's just a matter of wondering how well it sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be weird to. It would be interesting to see the state of the canon then.
But it's also a big question mark because this was 2008. So Sonic Unleashed was setting the new standard for Sonic storytelling in Sonic themes games. And throughout the
Right.
2010s, there's a reason that I'm not using the word fucking meta era for those wondering, because I think that's stupid. I am referring to the 2010s as the drought era, both because the pattern of releases was really bad, and because the story was completely spinning its wheels during the 2010s. It felt like, that was the trend that Unleashed started, was, very self-contained stories that Unleashed added some stuff to the lore, but then Colorless Generations, Lost World, and Forces were just like, whatever. Would they have done that anyway if they had the prospect of incorporating Echidnas into the canon? I don't know.
That is
Yeah,
a
that's
good question.
something I point out a little bit. Something I really appreciate in this game. I mean, it makes sense for an RPG, but it touches a lot. Like, it has a good sense of continuity. This game, there's a lot of callbacks and things it tries to build on,
Mm.
which is interesting because, like I said, Sonic games don't usually do that as much. And yeah,
Well,
especially the ones
yeah,
we're
I
going
mean,
to see after this,
it's a
even less.
precursor to the modern, Sonic games now written by Ian Flynn stuff, I think.
Right? Yeah.
Which I'm not going to get into that discourse, but
They have their detractors. We'll just say that.
every Sonic writer does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
So,
inevitable.
yeah, it's just and the fact that this game ends with things being taken over by Eggman, and then Sonic Forces starts with things taken over by Eggman is like
Forces is the sequel we were asking for.
Well, it definitely had a lot of people talking about this game at the time, where it's like, could they have done that? And obviously,
Maybe.
like, they don't want to poke the Pender's bear, so no.
But it could be like a soft sequel.
It was an interesting idea. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you'd still have to explain Shade, but
sure, yeah, just kill her.
oh my god.
Gosh.
But so, yeah, ultimately, this game is very unique. It has the Echidna thing and the fact that it's a Sonic RPG to set it apart. And I would like to see both of those things tried again. I don't want to not like turn-based games. And I really want Echidnas back in the series just because Knuckles has had nowhere to go for the last decade and a half.
Yeah.
So, yeah, try again, please. And in the meantime, play
especially with
other
Atlas
RPGs.
under your belt.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
I'll
play some
RPGs.
I'll play some Atlas RPGs.
Mario RPGs when they're not friggin' Paper Mario being a friggin' test subject for stupid gameplay ideas.
Any of the Mario and Luigi ones. I love
Mario and
the
Luigi
newest
ones,
one.
yeah. Go play. I was gonna say Persona 5. Persona 5 is like the most big boy RPG you could go to from here.
Well, no, that would be Shin Megami Tensei 5. But
okay, SMT 5, any SMT game. I mostly just go play an Atlas game, because if they were to make another Sonic RPG made by Atlas, Jesus Christ, don't play Fear and Hunger. I mean, play
if
it.
You're
but
into that, I guess.
Check it out, but don't play it because of this game.
Certainly not.
Go play Super Lesbian Animal RPG. I've brought it up multiple times.
That.
Legitimately, it is a great game, and not just because I'm a queer furry, although partially because of that.
I'm not, and I fucking love
plan
it.
to play it sometime.
Yeah. Thanks, Bobby. I hope me plagiarizing some of your Sonic comic opinions this makes up for it in part.
I don't think it's that big of a problem.
No, I don't think she cares.
Yeah.
Anyway, that embarrassment aside, we finished Sonic Chronicles, so that is where we are finishing off.
It's done.
And next time on Deep Dive Zone, well, we're still on the Nintendo DS because we're going to play the game that was meant to go next after Rivals. And by meant to go next after Rivals, I mean it probably is set before Rivals because there's some continuity problems. The point is, we're doing part 1 of Sonic Rush Adventure, the first DS Sonic game that I ever played. And we'll have Kayla back.
Oh. Yay.
I completely forgot to mention, this was one of my first Sonic games I played to completion, which is crazy.
That's wild. That is wild.
We have insanely weird patterns with what order we played Sonic games in, you and me at least.
Yep.
And then there's me with Sonic 2 8-bit.
That was not the super serious, whatever. Anyway,
I thought it was Sonic 2 16-bit.
All that being said, that is where we're going to be done for tonight. Hour and 45-minute episode as the recording time
Holy
says.
crap.
Uh, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you to my co-host for being here. Thank you to our fans for watching. If you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, you can find us in the link tree in the description. And if you like this video, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. With all that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll have another episode for you next week. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and take care.